Yo, what's going on? Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Double Feature Podcast. Today, we're kind of catching up a little bit. Don't worry, the Peacemaker finale review is coming. We're just waiting till Gen V finishes to kind of do those together. But yeah, Gen V is about to end. But before we do that, we got to catch up with Gen V. And we also saw Tron ARES not too long ago, so we're going to go ahead and review that for you as well. Obviously, this is a double feature podcast. Like I just said, one of the best podcasts on the planet for sure. I'd say unbiased,
clearly the most consistent,
and definitely the most consistent. But yeah, guys, if you do enjoy our discussions or any of our opinions, or want to get to know us more, or just stay active with us, you guys can follow our socials. They're all linked down below. And remember, please drop your thoughts in the comments below on either of the topics we are discussing today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell, all that. It's free, helps us out a ton, and you guys get to watch these every time we upload them. Have a good chit chat with us. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into our first topic, which is the last two episodes of Gen V, episodes 6 and 7. We've got the finale coming up very soon, but before we obviously, talk about the show in its entirety and the finale and all that, we got to catch up. And in these last two episodes, to briefly kind of put it together, in episode 6, obviously, this is when they were breaking out of the prison. And we get to see Sam join back in after he kind of reconciled, or at least came to terms with his emotional state and how that exactly was happening. But during all this, we do find out that Marie's sister also has powers, and she is kind of a clairvoyant person.
Yeah,
she can kind of tell the future or see or have premonitions. Sometimes
that's
they're wrong, sometimes they're not, but yeah, it's basically that's a Raven, Final Destination, whatever you can think of. But yeah, she has those powers. And during all of this, they get kind of picked up by is it Stan Edgar? Sam Edgar? Stan Edgar?
It's Stan
Edgar. Obviously, this is the Giancarlo Esposito character that's been, in The Boys a lot. And he brings some good stuff to the table, and particularly poses some good ideas and concepts that are floating around the show. He does say a line in the show where he's like, I'm gonna control Vought again. Like I'm gonna be at the top of that tower again. And immediately things start firing of, is he gonna create his own 7 with these college kids or what or whatever. But is that really all that happens in episode 6? I guess we find out, well, not find out, but I guess Polarity is being brought back into the fold, where
he's kind of having we find out that he's got these like issues.
Yeah, he's got these
the seizures.
Yeah, these like seizure type things, and we find out it's kind of like a genetic thing, and that also affected Andre.
I think in this episode, I think in this episode he also says like he didn't tell Andre about it.
Yeah, directly affected Andre and stuff. Yeah. But I think that
and that he can be fixed by Marie.
Well, obviously, yeah. That's what ends up happening in episode 7. But is there anything else in 6 that we need to point that was big? Any major event that happened?
I think Kate promises to not use her powers on any of them.
Yeah, Kate's becoming
to convince Marie.
Pretty chill.
Yeah, I'm liking this arc that Kate's going through right now.
And then we move into episode 7. Where Marie and Kate go off to find Polarity, and because they want to team up with him and what we ultimately end up finding out is they want to free Godolkin and team up with Polarity to do it and take down Cypher. During the midst of all this, the crew go over to try and find Marie, and this is when her sister starts having premonitions that Marie's gonna die in this like super gruesome way. And the big thing that happens here is they get to well, first the team is well, the other people besides Marie and Kate are kind of grouped up with Cypher, and they're kind of
Yeah,
fighting each other, and Cypher's controlling them. But in
they're
the midst
trying
of
to
all this,
basically keep Cypher busy
yeah,
while
and Cypher's just trying to
Marie
make
and
them
them
like
are
kill each other.
yeah.
And yeah, while Marie is over at what obviously we uncover was Thomas Godolkin. This seed was sprinkled in episode 6, I believe, where Stan Edgar talks about how Godolkin could be 100 years old, and that's when they kind of start
Yeah.
putting the puzzle pieces together. That wait, that man is hiding Thomas Godolkin. That's the old guy in there. And so Marie's doing her the thizzle after she finds out that she can like basically bring people from the dead back to life. She
Yeah.
goes and basically does it. But this is where we find out, and it was a good plot twist, such a good twist.
Oh,
Um,
we already said. Never mind. When she the Hempel.
I mean, if you want to talk about it, during
Fucking
this
Hempel,
episode,
man.
we get like a little
So
subplot
stupid.
adventures with Sam, and just want to say,
His
is that
frat
his
chick
name?
that he
The
has to take
Hempel?
care of. His name is
Or
Hempel,
is
I
that his
think.
like
Yeah.
soup Hempel? That is
Yeah, I'm pretty
definitely a
sure that's
name.
it.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that was
Oh yeah, and then
ridiculous.
obviously Marie fixes polarity. He
Oh
talks
yeah,
about
yeah, yeah.
like
Before all that, Marie finally fixed
like
polarity. And he's like, "Oh my god, this sickness,
yeah.
it's finally out of me," and that makes me
Um,
excited. Like, is polarity gonna show up and like really do
I
his
mean
like
polarity, like he
thing?
likes it in that little moment when they see Cypher and stuff. He fucking
Yeah,
yells and like
yeah. And
like he
then
likes him for a second.
Marie fixes Thomas Godolkin. His burnt skin starts being unburnt. He kind of starts getting younger, and we see it's Ariana Grande's boyfriend or SpongeBob from the Broadway.
Yeah,
And yeah, that happens. But then
like a little plot twist.
polarity is about to like cook Cypher,
About to finish Cypher off.
and Cypher starts talking differently, and like the twist starts happening, which realistically, had Cypher's abilities been shown like in the first episode, I think I would have guessed this, but they waited to the last
Yeah.
possible moment to even show Cypher has powers, which distracted you. And it was such a good way to pull off the twist. Such a great way to pull off a plot twist. And we
I
find
mean,
out.
they showed his powers in like the third episode, I think, or the fourth.
But that's what I mean.
The
Is like they
episode.
waited till the latest. So
Yeah, yeah.
everything else is happening. And then they dropped in the power. So
And
you're
he's
not
like
thinking
not,
about
and
that
he's
as
not
much.
like completely abusing his powers, so it's not like a constant like thought in your mind because it's not like he's constantly using his powers
Yeah,
like
yeah,
every
yeah.
other fucking scene. Like
And
kind
so
of like something he'll
what ends
pull
up
out if he just
happening
needs to.
is Marie brings Thomas Godolkin back to life, and we find out that is actually Cypher, and that this being, this Dean, was just a body for him, and obviously ultra powerful. He can basically put himself into any person, which made me wonder why he couldn't do that with Marie. Like, I guess it is still his brain, so he's still trying to, form Marie into something. But yeah, he walks
Well,
out
because
of there.
his ultimate thing isn't to necessarily just control the most powerful. Like he wants to create God you.
Yes,
Like
yes,
that's his
yes.
end goal.
And
It's
we
not
see
really per
that
se about
because
just
he
controlling, but
goes
I
out,
get what you.
he goes out with his little blanket cloak, and he sees the Hempel, and immediately he's like, "What's your superpower?" And the guy's like, "Beast from first class." You know what I mean? Um, yeah, he's like, my feet can turn
Basically,
into hands, and the guy's like, "Oh, so you're like, oh, you're like you're tier one. You're not fit for what I'm trying to do." Obviously goes in, controls him, and makes him unalive himself. And that's really where we end off with this twist that Thomas Godolkin is actually
he
Cypher.
got his
And
cloak on. He walking around with the cloak
yeah, he's
on.
walking around in a diaper. I'm curious
Yeah,
what exactly is going to happen in this finale, but that's where we
me
end off
too.
with this big twist. And obviously, I'm I'm assuming it's gonna be our collegiate friends, maybe Emma's crew, Polarity and Marie, all versus Cipher, and I'm curious how this ends up, or
I'm sure
if
Cypher
anyone
might be sitting
else,
there like controlling a bunch of, or Godolkin might be sitting there like controlling a bunch of other soups
a bunch of
at the
random
school.
students, yeah, a bunch of random
Yeah, so
students to fight. But
we'll
I'm
see.
curious.
I got a feeling that this last episode is gonna end off with the bang. I think I remember the first season kind of doing that.
Yeah, it was
I think I
very
remember with the
conflicting.
Homelander
It was a
stuff,
lot of,
and
yeah.
yeah, it was kind of like
Who knows?
the battle
Maybe
at
one of them might
Godolkin. I
show up
wouldn't be
at the
surprised
end
if
of
they do
this
that
season.
again.
What if Billy shows up at
Yeah.
the end of this season or something? We will find out this week actually, and yeah. So that's where we end off with 6 and 7. Um, really great episodes. But go ahead and give your overall thoughts, what you liked, what you're excited for in the finale, anything
Yeah,
related to these.
I really like these last two episodes. I think six I like because of the inclusion um of Stan. I think that's what I really
Mm-hmm.
liked about it. Obviously I liked a little bit of the character development there with Marie and her sister. You find out she's clairvoyant and stuff like that. A little bit of plot twist that I wasn't really
Maybe she'll
expecting.
become
And that
integral to the finale.
Yeah, yeah, and I also like how they kind of utilize her to tell this to both tell the story, but at the same time, like she's also like there to help Marie grow as a character. Like you get this little character moment. I think it's actually in episode 7 where she's like talking about like I saw like
Oh yeah, I forgot
you
to
were gonna kill our
mention
parents.
in my recap that Victoria Newman's daughter gets thrown in here,
Oh yeah,
um, and she's
I don't
kind of
think there's any
just,
like real
yeah, she's
bearings there.
just
I think
kind
it's
of just living with grandpa, or
yeah.
like basically, but yeah.
Um, but yeah, like you get Marie's sister basically telling Marie like she saw she had a vision of Marie killing her parents and stuff like that. So it's stuff like that that I'm really liking in these last two episodes, how they're building on the characters while at the same time giving us some plot points that like we're not like they're kind of coming from out of nowhere. So again, like I really liked episode 6. Them breaking out. I also like Sam's character. He feels a lot more like since having that talk with his parents and
We're
coming to the
cruising with
reality
Sam
of
now. He's not as
who
much of a
he is.
crash out.
He's kind of chill. He's understanding a lot more
I'm gonna need him to
like
crash out next
in
episode though,
like
respectfully.
in episode 7 with Emma like hugging that other guy and stuff. It's like the old Sam before he had that talk with his parents would have flipped his shit. Like he would have
Yeah,
just went bipolar and like completely like went crazy. But yeah, I like the way they're doing that stuff. I like Stan's inclusion, and then I liked
I could see Cipher
Kate's little
controlling
arc.
that guy. I could see Cipher controlling that guy.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that too. Um, yeah, and then I like Kate's arc. It's like Kate, not having her abilities or her abilities kind of being fucked up is kind of making her kind of come to like a self realization
Mm-hmm.
about herself, and it's making her instead of constantly thinking about herself, thinking about the way she looks and her, all that shit. She's thinking about other people, and like you could see this arc kind of starting to turn where she's promising Marie she's not going to use her powers. Marie, you're seeing these little hints of darkness. Marie's telling Kate, "Hey, control these people and do what you tell them to stop following me." And
Bro,
Kate
your
has to tell
auto
her
focus and exposure is going insane every time you put your
because I'm
hand.
doing this.
Stop doing it.
Um,
Try not to
but
do
but
that.
uh, but Kate is obviously sitting there telling Marie that like no, I promise you I'm not gonna touch it. So there's some interesting stuff going on. I really like episode 7, the Godolkin stuff. I felt it earlier in the season when specifically when Cypher's powers were revealed. When it was revealed that Cypher can control other people, it immediately started turning the gears in my head of like I can imagine that the reason Cypher is taking care of Godolkin, you see those poignant scenes of him like taking care of him and feeding him and doing all that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I took that as like that
There's
guy
got to
could be doing
be
it for
some type of
himself. Like
motivation
he
there.
could be doing it for himself, like to keep himself alive. So I mean but again, the gears were turning and then it kind of like lost, like I kind of like stopped thinking about it until they reintroduce it. And I again it's a plot twist, and I really like it, and I like the way that they go and play it out, and it really makes me interesting for
Really
the
well
finale.
executed.
I would say episode 7 was probably my favorite episode of the season so far. Like really good character moments and some like, that cool little action sequence against Cypher, and you know, uh, I think it's building up to what I hope is like a really good finale because I'm really interested now. That plot twist is a good plot twist. The whole idea of like the God you thing,
Hmm.
um, and like Marie's powers. Will Homelander come? Will fucking Marie fuck up Homelander? Who like there
Will
are so many
Starlight come
things that could
back?
happen. That's what I'm saying. Like there's
Where's
a lot
the
of things that could
deep?
happen. It's making me very
What
excited. This is
happened to
how I
the
want to
deep?
feel going into the finale.
My
Yeah, I like
favorite
both
gloop
these
shido.
episodes.
Yeah, I gotta agree. The show is, it's really consistent. I commend it for that. I think, while sure it might not be reaching like the highs of the boys or anything, I don't think that's the intention of this show. They understand it's got its own niche little corner
It's
that
better
it's
than The
supposed to
Boys
be
season
in.
4.
Oh yeah,
I'll tell you
yeah.
that.
I mean, we came to that conclusion from the first season, but
Yeah.
yeah, and this show continues to be consistent. Um, I don't know if it's my favorite
Plus,
episode because they're all like kind of like with each other. Like besides like maybe like two, like they're all like pretty good. Like, but yeah, this is definitely that plot twist definitely made it stand out. It's one of the higher ones for
yeah.
sure, and I thought it was really well executed. I love how they didn't put Cypher's abilities up front. It would have made things way too telegraphed, and I like how it was kind of
They
just,
made the Odessa thing kind of like a
yeah,
little
that
like
was
look over
the,
here for a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Like
Don't
look
pay
like
attention to
I,
this, even though he has it. Don't pay
it's
attention to
actually kind of
this.
smart too the way that they're integrating it because where the first season of Gen V is kind of the introduction of God U and like the
Yes,
life at God U. This one's like almost like giving you like the backstory of
the
God U,
reason
the
behind it.
alumni, the and it's
Yeah, the
weaving
deep,
the history
the deep
of the
man. That's
fucking
my
deep
favorite.
fraternity
That might be
frat
my
shit.
favorite gloop
The
shit in
it
the
works
last
so well
decade.
too
Like,
because the deep would be still
would
sitting
be a
around that
frat.
college trying to do
Yes,
frat shit. Like he's a
yes.
fucking loser, kind of
Yeah,
like.
yeah. I'm
uh
really liking the show. I really loved the plot twist, and I am very interested how this concludes. How Marie's
Will
sister
Sister
might play a
Sage come
part into
back?
this. Will Sister Sage come back? Yeah, it felt like. Listen. There's a lot of possibilities to happen in this finale. We don't even know. Like, is this? We don't even know
Yeah,
like the run. This could be like a longer
I
runtime
have no
finale
clue.
or
It's
something.
making me excited for it though. I really liked
Yeah,
last season's
and the
finale. Last season's finale
implications
was a banger.
this might
This one could
have
be
on the boys season 5, anything to do with that it might set
yeah,
up.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very curious, and I think the show has done a great job at keeping me invested and also intrigued. I think it hasn't pulled the rug out of too many things, but we've gotten character moments along the way with all the shenanigans. We've built up kind of relationships that were kind of unexpected. Like, I really like the way I like polarity's inclusion into all of
Yeah.
this. And finally, Sam isn't as much of a crash out, which, thank you. I'm so glad it didn't take the entire
I like
season
the kind of
to get there.
the push and pull of him and Emma's relationship too. How it's like
Yeah.
you can tell they both care for each other, and but you can tell like it's not the
It
time
might take
yet.
some
Like it's
time
not,
to go
yeah,
back into
to
this.
come
Yeah, they're
back
not in
from
a
that. Like,
rush. But
but
yeah,
yeah,
I'm really enjoying it as well. Like I said earlier, really consistent. And, if
yeah,
there's one thing you want in, something smaller, when you're trying to invest yourself into a show that isn't like the world's topic of discussion or anything, like you want it to at least be consistent. The last thing I'd want to do is invest myself into like a show that isn't that popular and it like kind of disappoint me on multiple fronts. I guess a
yeah.
bigger show could get away with that because it has the popularity behind it, but this show has its own little niche, like I said, and they're playing to those strengths. They've got the advantage of all the boys stuff, of the
Actually, I
edginess,
find it
the
funny
satire and
that you
stuff.
talk about that it's a small show because it's bigger than Peacemaker.
Uh, Prime has
I just checked the
way
Nielsen
more
charts, and it's
subscribers.
I just checked the Nielsen charts. It's there now. I told you it was gonna be there. I told you. Peacemaker. Maybe Peacemaker was taking some of its viewership, and
Well,
now
Prime
now maybe
has
those
more
some of those viewers.
subscribers and no one watches Prime. So you got to understand that when they drop something connected to The Boys, which is Prime's only big thing, they're gonna
I mean,
watch it.
I guess you can say
Like
that,
Peacemaker
being
is
that in this
in the
top 10 of
DCU, but
Nielsen,
it's
there
its
isn't
own
a
thing.
single HBO Max thing. There isn't a single HBO Max thing on
Yeah,
this
because it
top
doesn't
10.
have
So I guess
that many
you can say that. But at the
subscribers.
same time, I find it hard to believe that I think the Penguin would have been on this chart. Like,
Well, yeah, because that's
I don't.
connected to the Batman. like,
I'm just saying.
like
I'm just
Peacemaker's in
saying,
the
if we calling
DCU,
Gen
but
V
that's not
little,
quite.
if we
You
calling
know,
Gen V small and nobody
it's
watches, then
definitely in
who's
its
watching
own corner.
Peacemaker?
It's not.
We are.
You know,
We are.
streaming numbers can only show so much. I think Peacemaker has definitely spoken for itself when it comes to like social media presence. Like
I think
Peacemaker
that's
is
manufactured. Me personally, I think that shit
whether
is
or
just
not
out there.
whether
I
or
think
not
it's just
it is
push.
manufactured, it is in the zeitgeist. Whereas I don't think
It
Gen
is.
V
I mean,
quite
I don't
is
doubt that.
the same
I just
way.
think
I
Gen V
don't
is being
think
watched more than Peacemaker right now.
by
And
subscribers, yes.
that's what the facts say.
I mean,
That's what the facts say.
yeah, there's more subscribers. More people watched Rebel Moon than
I mean,
Superman
I don't
on
know
streaming.
how. I don't.
But did more
I mean,
people
yeah.
watch Rebel Moon than Superman? No. Like, obviously not. It's a Superman movie versus a
I mean,
Netflix
yeah,
movie that could
counting
be
the
turned
theatrical
on.
distribution, yeah, probably not.
It's
But I don't know. So, I don't know how they count like the viewers in minutes.
I don't
And
know.
I don't
I
know
don't
how
know
they do that shit.
particularly how other Prime shows do, but The Boys is clearly. I mean, is anything bigger than The Boys from Prime? I don't think so. I
The
can't think of a.
terminal list. The terminal.
I know
List.
it did well, but did it do like The
And
Boys
Reacher,
numbers?
and Reacher.
Oh, the Reacher, yes. Reacher, yes. Reacher is probably the
Yeah,
biggest.
the terminal
Actually.
list was, especially the last season of the terminal list, doing pretty good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, the boys is always up there. So
Yeah. Gen V is kind of carving its own path. I am curious. Do they plan on
third season,
more Gen V after? Because obviously,
I want more. Like,
I
I'm
kind of
not
don't.
gonna lie.
I think the world, the boys' world, it's.
I want more of these characters. I don't
I
want
agree.
this. I do
I
not
agree.
want this to be the last time I see Emma. I don't want this to be the last time I see Marie, Kate. I love these. I like these characters a lot. Like,
I agree. I just think it's the world that worked.
maybe they become
for a
a part
little
of a
bit.
new show, a Stan's version of VOD or something. You know, maybe, I don't know.
But
But
that's still in the same world.
I really like them.
I just think people are tired
I do not want this to be the last time I see
of the this the idea of the boys worked inherently because it was coming right off of the like peak of comic book media of Infinity of Marvel.
Well, you just got to keep it interesting. You just got to keep it interesting.
But that can only last for so long. Like parodying and satirizing like the comic book genre can only work for so long. And I do think stuff like Watchmen or Kick-Ass were like unfortunately too early where they couldn't take advantage of the boom.
I don't see, maybe the boys, I don't see Gen V like that though.
I just think Gen V is associated with the boys. So as the investment of a satirized universe declines, so will interest in Gen V. I just think it's a catalyst, like it's a product of like it's biting the bullet
I
that
think
the
if
boys.
you keep it interesting, you have the right kind of like market. I think
Maybe.
after this season, a lot of people would be so down to watch it. And I think the actors and actresses and the people, the characters, I think they're only going to gain popularity over time. I don't think this is like the peak of Gen V. Like, I think Gen V
It's
still
not about the
has
peak of Gen V. It's about what people think about the world of the boys, and I think they're like tired of like, we get it. You're making real life references to politics and world leaders. And, that was interesting when it first dropped, when you can combine it with the peak of the comic book genre.
But that just happened in Superman.
What just happened in Superman?
Like the same kind of like commentary.
Yeah, but it's not like a satire. It's not like milking,
parody. I mean, it kind of does feel parody, honestly, but
it's not milking a real world. Like, it's not just constantly throwing real world things. It's using that.
But
as
that's what I mean.
allegory.
That's what I mean. You just have to keep it interesting. I feel like that's the boys' problem. I don't
But
find
this
that
is going
problem in
to
Gen
bite
V.
that from the boy. I don't think you understand. This is going to be
But
directly
what if it gets to the
affected.
point where it doesn't? What if it gets to the point where we don't need the boys?
Well, this show would have to be huge already.
We just get like a VOT show or something. Like there could be so many. Again, you just have to keep it interesting. The boys could have a reignite.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say,
kind of
I
like
guess
Invincible had. Kind of like Invincible had. Like it could have like a reignited like thing if it's just interesting enough, or they just play the cards right. I don't think people are like tired of the boys. I just think the boys isn't doing anything to make people not be tired of it. Like,
but I think part of that is just I think, part of it is just the world we live in and how like maybe people have become kind of over how much disgusting negativity is in the world and how they don't want that to be like they don't want that to be not parodied, but I guess people might just not want to hear it, not want to see it. I don't know.
Personally, I think this is always going to have an audience, whether it be like the teenage demographic or like an older demographic. Like I think this.
I do think so, yeah, because I guess like there's a large demographic of the people that watch The Boys that don't watch Gen V, and so I guess Gen V's fan base could be secured. It just really depends on like what happens after I think The Boys is gonna be a real litmus test of how interested are people in for just this universe for the future. Like, and maybe they might do one more season of Gen V, and yeah, depending on how this shakes up. But I do agree with you. I do want to keep seeing these characters. I hope they're in The Boys quite a bit. And I do hope that, you know, if obviously this is the last season of The Boys, but if they do plan on more seasons,
like I would want to see what these characters are like older.
Me too. I've really wanted to see that. I thought
like
there should have
powers honed in and like having to stop and handle shit. Like,
and I think that's kind of the issue we run into with The Boys' decline is like the longevity of the world becomes much shorter. I really like after the first season, we had the exact same thoughts of like, oh my goodness, in 10 years when they're all grown heroes wearing their own suits and like running the world with their own ethics and their mentalities, and what will this universe be shaped like? What will the status quo be like? What will the social I guess like the hierarchy of society be like? Like how different will that be? But The Boys has declined so quickly from that last season that they're on like chop time now. And yeah, I just wonder how many people are still invested. I'm invested. I think these characters...
you don't have to wonder. You don't have to wonder. Plenty of people are invested in The Boys. Like, again, if you want to sit here and talk about Peacemaker, bro, The Boys is like fucking washing Peacemaker with viewership. But I'm saying, if you want to have this conversation about The Boys, and I don't know how many, because you did the same shit with Avatar when Avatar 2 was coming out. I don't know how many people. I don't know.
Well, that was warranted.
Plenty of people are interested in The Boys. Plenty of people are interested in
that. Was kind of
it's always going to be
it's always going to be
that way because come on, it's the only show.
Let's not bring up Avatar.
It's
not bring up a
piece of
sequel
of like superhero content that provides that kind of watch, that kind of like thing. It's always going to have a certain fan base.
But that's why that's where the interest is.
There's nothing that said it hasn't. Just because the seasons are like trash or like garbage compared to other seasons, there's no like insane decline in viewership. Like, it's still being watched.
No, but like, I've just seen. I just think it's about interest, and while the last season of The Boys definitely didn't do bad viewership wise, it's about the future. It's about, are people still locked in for the next one? It's
just this. I find this funny because I think when The Boys season 5 comes around, I don't think you're going to be saying any of this shit. I think it's going to be
big because it's the last season.
Yeah, okay.
It's about the future.
What are we talking about?
It's about how much are people interested in after that.
What are we talking about? I think I think
about
with
The
these
Boys
characters
season
in Gen
5.
V,
We're
I
talking
think
about
if they
Gen
find a way
V
to
season
fold
3.
it in and just keep it interesting, I don't see why it wouldn't still be popular, or like I don't get why you would question it. Like to me, the only issue is some of the stuff they're not making very interesting in The Boys. If they did that, I don't think we would be having this conversation at all. If The Boys season 4 was an absolute banger, like. What are we talking
Obviously,
about? Like,
that's the whole thing. Is there?
mute points. Mute points.
No, why are you acting like this show is like sustainable on its own? Why are you acting like
It literally is. It's literally in the top
did
10
this show
Nielsen charts
debut
right now.
before The Boys? I'm sorry. No, it was a direct. It is a direct result of The Boys. It is a direct product
Do you think
from The Boys.
Do you think that means it's supposed to be bigger than The Boys?
No, what I'm saying is if The Boys,
what are you
everything
talking about
comes from
then?
The Boys. Meaning, if people lose interest in The Boys, they are losing interest in Gen V. Whether or not they watch it, that is just factual.
Again, you got to show me the losing interest because Gen V is top 10 in the Nielsen charts right now. I don't know about the first season. I don't know how the first season did on the Nielsen charts.
The first
but I
season
imagine
had to do
it probably was in
better.
The top 10. I don't really know.
The first season was
but again, it's in the top 10. The Boys is probably in the like. I don't see this decline. This worrying of interest. I think the interest is. I think
it's
the
not about
intrigue
worrying.
is all there.
It's just a question of how much is it there. Obviously, I think The Boys is interesting. You can't get this type of like extreme violent like profanity like superhero thing really anywhere else. Like as raunchy as you say Peacemaker is, like that's very tame compared to like The Boys. Like, and The Boys is the only place where you can really get that outside of like obviously some comics, but like it's about how many people are interested in that. How many people are still interested in that? That's all. That's
okay,
all I'm saying.
I'm looking at it right. I'm looking at it right now. The season 2 premiere dropped, so I think the first 3 episodes when they dropped of Gen V, boosted the Boys spin-off series to score its biggest weekly streaming audience to date. After Gen V dropped the 3 episodes of its second season on Prime, Wednesday, September 17th, the series tallied up 424 million minutes during the week, the highest weekly total that Gen V has seen yet. So again,
it's 3 episodes.
Even popular than season 1. It's even popular than season 1. Gen V landed as Gen V. Oh, it landed. Oh, but,
do you not
but
get
again,
that?
we'll see because this is just the first. This is just the first week, right? We'll see
Of
when
course.
the next week's Nielsen charts numbers drop or whatever. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if the numbers were better than season 1. I don't think that's crazy.
Season 1? How good did season 1? Q look that up? Like, how good did season 1 do? Because season 1 was pretty sizable. Like, we did reactions to season 1, pretty consistent returning viewers. Season 1 also was like on social media a lot more. That's also because of the shock factor. You know, it's kind of like, you know, Peacemaker season 1 and any season 1 of a new thing. Like if it's good, it's got a little, you know, a zip to it. It's got a bigger shock to it that makes more people talk. And
its highest season 1's highest was at number 6 on the weekly chart with 374 million minutes watched.
Okay, so
after its premiere, it was after the same. It was the same. It was after the first 3 episodes.
It premiered with 3?
Yeah, season 1.
Did it premiere with 3? I don't remember that.
Yeah,
I thought it premiered with 2.
Did.
Or maybe I'm thinking of Peacemaker. Peacemaker season 1 did premiere with 2. That's interesting. Yeah.
But anyways, my point being that the intrigue is still there. You don't got to worry about that. All you should be worried about right now is the quality and the maybe the output, maybe how good it is. Because I think you do have a point. I think you do have a point with The Boys being the cream of the crop thing that makes a Gen V possible. I think you have a point, but I think there's also something to be said about Gen V possibly becoming like popular enough to keep it sustainable, or The Boys having like a reignition of its like story or whatnot to the point that makes that kind of stuff a lot more feasible, like more spinoffs and whatnot.
Is Seth Rogen attached to Gen V? Obviously, he's probably an executive producer just by association, but is he on it more?
Like he's just an executive producer.
Maybe their whole focus will go to Gen V. I'm curious because I just wonder how much bigger Gen V is compared to everything else on Prime, compared to other big shows. I'm saying, like, is it bigger than Terminal List?
I mean, it's the only show on the Nielsen charts from Prime, I think.
Right now.
I
don't know what's on Prime. Is anything on Prime right now?
Oh no. The Summer I Turned Pretty. That's the only. That's the one that's.
Is that a movie or a show?
No, it's a show.
That's over it.
Yeah, it's fourth.
Well, I
It's
guess
right
it's
behind Wednesday. So
I don't know, but yeah, I definitely want another season of Gen V, and I hope it does happen. If it does, if like the Boys season 5 is where everything concludes, do they even plan on like anything? Do they plan on like a different spin-off? Me personally, I would do a sitcom with the Deep, but maybe I'm just not cooking. But I just think the Boys has tons of characters that people would love to see. It's just maybe so much of the bogged down world politics and commentary that people just kind of aren't interested in anymore, maybe. But we'll see. I obviously expect the Boys season 5 to be pretty big. Since
yeah,
obviously it's the last season, and the Boys is kind of a big show at this. Like you kind of got to tune in. It's kind of like a level
yeah,
of FOMO there. But yeah, I curious as to the future of Gen V. Hopefully, this finale lands and we can get a season 3 because I really do want to see these characters keep growing. Like I want to see them out of college. Like I want to see them be
yeah,
adults with their own lives, and maybe they're in their own like 7 or something like that. I'm really curious where this goes.
yeah.
But as for the episodes, really enjoyed episode 6 and 7. Has me very excited for the finale. But you guys let us know in the comments below what did you all think about episodes 6 and 7. How interested or excited are you for the Gen V finale? Will you be watching it? Anything related to this? Go ahead and give us your thoughts down below. And please do not forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell. But we're going to move on to the next topic, which is Tron ARES. Tron ARES just dropped, well, I guess like over a week and a half ago now.
Cue the
Um,
fucking Nine Inch Nail soundtrack.
I know, dude.
Cue the red light.
But yeah, we got to watch Tron Ares. At this point, you've seen it twice. I've seen it once. We watched it in IMAX.
Yeah,
And yeah, we're gonna give you guys our full review. Spoilers, because the movie's been out for over a week now. So
yeah. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. Like the franchise could really use the money right now.
this movie looks like it might make less than one battle after another, which
That
is
is, I mean, I can't say that would exactly
insane.
be shocking in this climate of moviegoers, like this era of moviegoers, and especially this year of moviegoers. It's not like the most surprising thing to me, but it is
That's
surprising
shocking that a
nonetheless when you
PG
really put it
13
on when you
blockbuster
really look at it on
could
paper.
potentially make less than like rated R 3 hour
Hey, Leo, the power of Leo,
American
man.
politic. It
Instead of
is.
Jared Leto, we
He is.
needed Leo.
He is the only actor to have a #1 movie in
Tron
four
Ares needed
decades.
Leonardo DiCaprio as Ares.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you take it away because you're the big Tron guy. I'm
I'm the
more of
big
a
Tron man.
casual Tron fan. I'm invested in the franchise, but it's not my Bible. It's not. I'm just sitting back as an appreciator. But you
No,
tell the
look.
viewers what did you think about Tron Ares?
Again, I'm not gonna sit
Defend
here
it
and
with your
bullshit you. Look,
life. Defend it
look.
with your
I'm not.
life.
Look. I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit you and say it's like a perfect movie or like even the best Tron movie because it is not. But what I am gonna say is you'd be stupid, very dumb, and honestly, um, you'd be doing yourself a disservice not going to go watch this movie in theaters. Like the visuals here are astounding. I mean, every time we're in the Dillinger grid, the red grid, it looks amazing. I mean, the 82 grid, brother. I would I'm gonna pay to buy this movie on 4K just for that. Literally just for that 82 grid part. Like I'm sold, man. And like I think there's a vision here with the whole industrial and like kind of like rough raw feel of some of the cinematography, some of the action sequences, like when all the stuff comes to Earth and stuff like that. I like the way that they play into the different grids, the Dillinger grid, the Encom grid. I don't think it's crazy to say, especially after this movie's ending in post credit scene with the Dillinger grid kind of being fucking bombed, but Julian Dillinger being able to kind of um I can't think of the word. Um
Transported.
yeah, but there's a word digitized. being able to digitize himself into the Dillinger grid, I wouldn't be surprised if they had some plans, you know, for like a Tron 4 or 5 in the ending of this kind of Tron Ascension storyline where you return to the legacy grid, you know, with the legacy grid kind of on Sam's little chain and whatnot. I think again, I think it visually it looks fucking great. Like especially in IMAX, those aspect ratio changes, like they
The
look
best
so fucking
blockbustering
good.
since Dune Part Two, right?
It's the best blockbustering I have ever seen since Dune Part 2. Period. I mean, straight up like the action sequences here combined with the music, the scale, the VFX. I mean, it fucking
Bro didn't
works like
see
in
Minecraft.
spades. It works in absolute spades, chicken jockey. It works in absolute. Could this movie have benefited from a Jack Black program? Hey,
Are you
I'm just saying.
serious?
I'm just saying.
This would
Maybe
have
Jack
made
Black should have been
300
Ares.
minimum. This would have
Look,
made
look, look.
300
Maybe Jack
minimum.
Black should have been Ares. He would have had to tuck a little bit of the weight into the suit. But boy, look. It would have got us at least 200 million more. Nah, but in all seriousness, yeah, certain story elements, yeah, sure. Some of them aren't like given the right amount of depth or like um the story being so contained and so like kind of streamlined kind of
Mm-hmm.
hinders any like narrative exploration or any like emotional depth or
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. But I think there was enough here. Like I think the way people are trying to talk about the movie's writing is kind of underselling it and kind of like hyperbolic in a way. Like they're trying to act like some people are like acting like this is like the worst written fucking blockbuster thing like they've ever seen. And it's honestly it's kind of stupid. Like it's very streamlined, it's very concise, like it's very like solid. It's just not doing anything. It's just presenting. It's done what all Tron films have always done. Honestly, it presents these themes and these bits of narrative exploration that are like kind of big, but doesn't really like grasp on it or like expand
Explore
on
them.
it. Yeah, it doesn't really expand on it. And so I'm fine with that. And I actually do kind of like the little arc that Ares goes through here. And I think there's something to be said in this day and age about like AI programs and like whether you can or can't control them and if they were to, have their own, kind of consciousness and whatnot. I also don't like the stupid complaints that they're kind of being like this isn't it's like completely says fuck you to legacy and stuff like that because to me I mean this is like the sequel between 82 and legacy, but it does a good job at like taking what legacy gave us and like kind of coming off of it instead of like because it's not legacy. It's not. That's one thing I don't like is that this movie very clearly is not legacy. It is an entirely different movie going for something different, and it's just kind of using legacy to keep the timeline going. I don't like how people are trying to make it seem like it's like completely disregarding legacy when it mentions Sam and Cora multiple times throughout this film, and the NCOM grid is still alive, healthy, and well. You get multiple nods to like Kevin Flynn and stuff like that. Like to me, I don't know. It just seems like there's a couple like baseless like arguments for this film.
Mm-hmm.
I think Evan Peters, he was pretty one note, but he had fun in the role. Like it's Evan
He
Peters, like
was he was doing his 70s
he's
villain
gonna do what he
thing.
needs to do. And I actually like Greta Lee's character. I like that you kind of get that Sam Flynn aspect where it's kind of like a human being thrown into the grid and they kind of have to get their bearings straight. But I actually kind of like the story they kind of
She was in
gave
the grid
Eve
for
with
like
her
5 minutes, bro.
sister. No, I mean even outside of the grid, like when she's doing the light cycle stuff, like all
Oh yeah,
stuff outside, it
yeah, yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
it doesn't matter. It's just her being introduced to this world, and I kind of like the story that they gave her as well, like with in terms of like her sister and stuff like that, and wanting to find the permanence code. Like when you think
Mm-hmm.
about the
Mm-hmm.
concept of the permanence code and the story she's going through, and the story Ares is going through, I really like how they kind of come and I like the whole idea of like their directives of Ares kind of going against his directive and saying like that's just in our programming, but like we don't have to do that kind of stuff. And like Eve, kind of feeling like her directive is to like follow in her sister's footsteps and finish her work that she's done and stuff like that. Like I think there's some interesting stuff in the story. I feel like people are just shitting on it a little bit too quick. But again, like for me, when I come to a Tron movie, it's about the aesthetics, the music, the grid.
Mm.
And I think completely when we're there, I think it's
Mm.
atmospheric as fuck. I think I'm immersed as shit.
Mm.
There are definitely at least two scenes for me, three or four, but at least two for sure that are like you're gonna want to revisit at some point. And yeah, I thought I also think like there has to be something to be said about a movie actually looking as expensive as it is nowadays, because for some reason watching this movie, I think what enhances the visual experience is like the VFX not being wonky in any bits. Like it makes the visual experience that much more like solid and like really like it makes that experience feel better and not as like we oddly gimmicky and CGI feeling. It feels
Sure.
like a proper blockbuster. Um, so yeah, I think the big blockbuster moments, the fucking dude, the score here is so good. I mean, the score here is really really good. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, like I already have like that entire album downloaded, and I'm just playing it in my head constantly. So like an amazing score, combined perfectly with the visuals. Honestly, like it works so well with this like aesthetic and whatnot. And yeah, I think it was a great movie. I don't think it's like one of the best movies of the year. Again, I don't even think it's like a great Tron movie, but I do think that some audiences are purposefully trying to sell this movie short because of fucking Jared Leto, as if there isn't other cast and crew members on this fucking movie. It's honestly pretty goddamn disingenuous if you ask me. And honestly, I stand by what I'm saying. You know, I think the blockbuster filmmaking here is like really something to behold on the big screen. Like it's fucking it's immaculate to watch. Like the direction of some of these action sequences and how some of this the scale and how some of it just looks visually. I really like it. And the world building on the Tron franchise, you know, what it does to set up a story maybe of like grid cities, Tron Ascension, whatnot. Yeah, I'm there for all of that stuff. Post credit scene with Sark with the Sark program taking over Julian Dillinger, like that's the kind of stuff that the fans for sure are gonna like really chew up and eat on. But like as like a film on its own, I think it's like proper blockbuster entertainment, bro. Like for me, I had tons of fun with this.
Okay, so without that, this is
What?
a 1 out of 10. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to rip this shit to shreds because this is disappointing. Here's the thing. Tron as a franchise has never really peaked at like some insane level. This franchise has never really touched like Oscar level. But it has always pushed the medium forward in some way. Obviously, the OG Tron, pretty much the first movie to have like CGI in it. And obviously, the second really pioneered the aging. Sure, it sacrificed itself for it, but you know, it pioneered the aging. This one kind of just regresses, and I think my biggest issue with this movie is every good thing that it potentially teases or has in it should have been the movie. And let me explain what I mean by this. Obviously, this movie is because our technological leap hasn't been as substantial as from 82 to Legacy. From Legacy to ARES, the technological leap hasn't been that big, like in real life. So what they do is they kind of play to the strengths of Legacy's kind of designs, and you know they use some of that, but you know, make it a bit more edgy, more industrial in some places. But it still keeps that like there's a
They make it look
consistency
kind of
there.
real. They don't make it look like a foggy ass fucking CGI experiment like Legacy looks like. Look, I love the way Legacy looks, but it also looks like straight CGI. Like
Just
I don't
because
get
you
that
know it's
vibe from
CGI
Ares
doesn't
at
mean it's
all.
bad
I
CGI.
don't get that
So
vibe from
here's
Ares at all. I don't get
no,
that vibe from Ares at all.
of
Okay, it
course
doesn't
not.
look like I'm looking at like straight CGI. Like,
It does
bro,
when they're
that's
in the
what
grid
Legacy
because it
looks like.
is.
And I like it, and it
It
makes
does
perfect
when they're
sense
in the
because they're in
grid
the
though.
grid.
It does when they're in the grid.
Not like Legacy though. Not like Legacy though. Like
Well,
the
it
way
doesn't.
that the
It has a
Encom grid,
different
the
design.
fact that the Encom grid has a sun, beautiful by the
Mm-hmm.
way. Love that. Love that.
Mm.
But like the way that that grid looks, like, come on, man, that shit looks immaculate, bro.
Speaking
Like,
of the grid, you talked about NCOM and you talked about. Here's my issue, right? On paper, and I said this in the trailer reactions. On paper, bringing grid into real life could be cool. Now, the issue with that is now you got to convince me that this is a more interesting movie than if it were to take place in the grid. And number one, this movie did not do that. While the best scene does take place on Earth, I will say that the best sequence in this movie does take place on Earth. There's just not nearly as much. It's not as entertaining. It's not as investing. as the grid, and it's the movie teases things that you want more of, but it gives you more of the shit you don't. And I think that's where the movie like crumbles. Is you see the MCOM grid, we know nothing about it. Okay, so we're not so we don't explore the MCOM grid, but we're hanging out.
But this is what I mean. This is what I mean by the disingenuous ass takes. You can't, because Ares is not it's not a fucking NCOM movie. Like, sure. I get Greta Lee owns the NCOM, but it's not. It is a Dillinger movie.
I was gonna get there, but you're too quick to emotionally respond.
Because the NCOM grid is in this movie for like a fucking 5-minute sequence. So what are you talking about? Why is that a topic of discussion?
I was going to get to the Dillinger grid.
I digress. Go ahead.
You do this thing where you emotionally react instead of listening.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
So we cover the MCOM grid. Then we go to the Dillinger grid, where it's just Jared Leto in basically one room the whole movie outside of one sequence. Here's the issue. We have 2 grids in this movie. None of them are really explored. Cool. We go to the real life, and that's garbage because we have a MacGuffin plot, which works for the first hour. It's really urgent. It's basically a 2-hour long chase. The only difference is when there's a really lack of character work and none of it's really interesting, the MacGuffin is not enough to stretch 2 hours. So after the first hour, you start really feeling nothing. You start going, what is this leading to? Because right now, we're in a Hot Wheels car just talking.
Reminds you of Legacy, doesn't it?
We're in a Hot Wheels car talking. When we could have went back to the grid would have been way cooler. Actually.
You mean like how we go back to the 82 grid? This is the problem. Tron Legacy is the only movie that exists to y'all, bro. I swear to God. We have a whole entire sequence in the 82 grid with the ghost Kevin Flynn, basically explaining to Ares the permanence code. And it even has a line talking about how it should be called the impermanence code. I love that moment. I love that scene. That does so much for Ares' character, and it does so much for the idea of a permanence code. Okay,
so anyways,
that's what encapsulates that plot line very well. To me, the problem Legacy has is it tries to give you this very climactic, father is going to sacrifice himself for the son's ending, right? But it doesn't really do a good job in like making that ending be felt or like follow through on that ending. Like where I feel like here, the way they utilize the 82 grid for the whole summation of the permanence code and whatnot, I think it's personally great. Like, I don't know, man. I think y'all are being very harsh. Like, I just feel like this year we've had a lot more stupidly written movies that we've been a lot more lenient on. But
I'm trying to make mine. I'm trying to make mine.
I don't know what it is, man.
Can I talk?
Go ahead.
Where was I? You made me forget because you're just interrupting.
Thank God.
Just shockingly terrible character work with no type of investment. I think the 82 grid stuff was cool. I think honestly that stuff was really good. The only issue I had with it was like being cut back and forth. And I think we should have just kind of stayed there, and it would have let us kind of sink in there.
I agree
more. I just think, bless you, Greta Lee. Bless you. Her character is terrible. She is basically a stand-in for Sam Flynn, which, they're like, this one owns NCOM. This one rides motorcycles. This one has family trauma. They're like, okay, sure, let's just put Sam Flynn's characteristics on a new character. The difference is there is no one in this movie that has any form of charisma. And when you do that, we need to have more forms of discovery. And I think the peak of this movie was the light cycle chase in the streets. And I think the reason why was because that was one of the few moments where we got to see, even though this movie lacks charisma, it was one of the few moments we got to see a character kind of discover things, right? When Greta Lee gets overtaken by the bike, it's like it makes a scene that was already pretty good like charge back the fuck up. And like that's what Legacy was. As much as Garrett Hedlund lacked any form of charisma, like It had the discovery element. It opened our eyes to a world. And obviously, once you introduce
it had Jeff Bridges.
and that's what I was gonna say. And once you introduce Jeff Bridges, that's where the charisma comes in. And obviously, Olivia Wilde is just such a great like fish out of water thing. There's personality there, and I think that's something this movie really lacks. And if you're gonna lack that, we need to have a more form of discovery. But in here, it's really just a MacGuffin chase. We're not doing much like world building for us to like open our eyes at. And I mean, the villain obviously
You don't think the idea of programs being able to come? Okay, never mind.
that was introduced in Legacy.
Never mind. Never mind, bro.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's not that this movie does everything at a terrible level. It's that it doesn't do a single thing outside of the music. It really doesn't do a single thing at a high level. It has its moments. Don't get me wrong. It's hard to see Tron-esque visuals and not be amused. But at some point,
I mean, I think it's
I think
it's some of the best VFX I've seen all year. Arguably the best VFX I've seen all year. Other
no,
than
I'm
like
not
maybe
disagreeing
like
with
Jurassic
that.
World.
I'm not disagreeing with that for sure. The VFX are spotless in this movie. I think I just at some point, it kind of feels like the music is you're so uninvested that it feels like whenever the music kicks in, it's trying to distract you from how poor and paper thin the script and storytelling is in this movie. And you know, while we all can chalk up Legacy to being like a vibes movie and stuff like that, and I particularly aren't anyone or am not anyone that gets like emotionally invested in Sam Flynn and his character arc and his relationship with his father. I don't particularly ever really feel any emotions, but it's a story that has a strong skeleton there that has a reason for you to root for this character outside of a MacGuffin. Like it's something more easier to root for, which is obviously, you know, wanting to find your father. Like that's something all of us could probably relate to in some form.
Which he does like 30 minutes into the movie.
Yeah. And that's just a much better kickoff besides like printing in orange. Like I guess you introduce things like basically like 3D printing stuff from the digital world into the real world, and it starts off with like a orange, clearly a callback to the first Tron movie, but it's like, what happens when someone eats it? We're just okay. We're not gonna explore that, I guess. Like they introduce these things, and there are such more intriguing concepts attached to them, but they're rarely explored. Like never over the surface. And I think that just goes that's true for literally every single thing. It's commentary on AI surface level, the villains surface level, our protagonists surface level, the character arcs surface level. Everything is so surface level, and at some point that begins being stretched thin when there's not enough happening in the movie. While I adore like the Nine Inch Nails soundtrack and the visuals of like Tron action sequences when they're on screen, after like the first hour, I just felt like I was waiting for that now to happen. I wasn't invested in the story. I wasn't locked in. I was kind of going, when's more Nine Inch Nails going to play with cool bikes and cool lights? And, you know, I just think the movie, that's all it really has to offer. In that way.
And maybe that's the point, right? Maybe that's the
right.
point.
In that way, it definitely, I'd say, is worth the price of admission because this is still a $200 million movie. It looks like it's booming with a fucking like soundtrack that, you know, courses through your veins whenever it plays. It's just, you know, unfortunately it drops the ball on pretty much everything else. And it's not even like it's like kind of solid or like it's kind of just it's not good. You don't care about any characters. The storytelling isn't investing at all. I don't, as much as I love Greta Lee, I don't really care to see anyone in this movie back. The tease with Julian Dillinger at the end becoming Sark is cool, but then it just reminds me of like, you're teasing cooler, you're teasing stuff like this movie could have used. It could have really benefited from the one-dimensional villain maybe turning into Sark. Could have really benefited from that. Or Jared Leto opens a picture of Quora and he's like, I gotta go meet her. She's a program in real life. And it's like, cool. We keep on teasing a better movie than the one we just watched. And I think that's just the biggest downfall. It's like throughout the course of the movie, you're like, oh, that's cool. But you can't help but think about like there's clearly something so much better here, and they keep on like teasing at it. There's stuff in the movie conceptually that could be further explored to be better. I just think, it's cool for like. I personally would not rewatch this movie unless like I'm doing a Tron rewatch or like maybe some of my friends haven't seen it and they want to go watch it or something like that. Outside of the cool visuals and sound, there's not really a backbone to this movie that's like investing in any way. It doesn't push really much. It doesn't push really anything forward outside of like introducing that things can show up in the real world. But that was explored in Legacy.
That wasn't properly.
It wasn't. They weren't like
again. If we want to make this a problem of Ares, bringing things up and not exploring it, then you have to bring that up for Legacy as well, because Legacy does that. It brings up the idea of Korra being able to exist in the real world, but just does it very fucking randomly. It doesn't do it in any creative way or any like. She just shows up in the real fucking world. There's nothing that says how she showed up in the real world, why she's able to.
Sure.
None of that. And that's something that this movie does.
Because that's what it's about. I mean when I talk that's about not what Tron Legacy is about.
Right, exactly. Exactly,
but it's
motherfucker.
Not exploring
that's exactly what the movie's about.
But it's not exploring that on a great level. It's not exploring. Basically, what is Tron Legacy about? A father and son, and they're exploring that to the best they could. It's not something like, it's not Oscar level writing.
And I would argue this movie explored being able to take programs into reality and what that would be like far more effective than the whole father-son story in Legacy.
I gotta disagree with
that's
that.
why okay, that's fine. You disagree, but when I see Jodie Turner-Smith's Athena kill Julian Dillinger's mom, and just tell Julian Dillinger that this is simply her directive and this and that, I think stuff like that is much more expound upon than whatever father-son, I miss you daddy relationship is going on in Legacy. I think this whole idea crazy. Of like everything is so bad and so thin and this and that, I think that's completely okay, bro. But I think the ideas that are explored like enough. I just don't think, I think you're asking for something that it was never gonna be. But I really do feel like right now,
it felt like as soon as they introduce a concept,
stop it with
they're like, that's it. That's what the whole movie felt like. They introduced,
it ain't the only $200 million movie this year. That's thin-ass characters and thin-ass storytelling and garbage-ass character work and shit like that. That's all I'm saying. They
introduce so many concepts, but don't go past that.
Get out of here, man.
That is my biggest issue.
Get out of here, man. And my thing is the blockbuster stuff works 10 times over, and it makes it makes all that stuff. It makes it fizzle the fuck out. That's my thing. There are movies this year that haven't even been able to balance that shit correctly. This movie does a blockbuster shit on a fucking 10 out of 10 level. The music and all of that shit, like all of those sequences on a 10 out of 10 level. I don't care, bro. I don't care. It makes all that stuff like it. Yeah. It makes that stuff forgettable. It makes that stuff. Okay, that's fine. Like, yes, do I want more? Of course. Like, yeah, but I don't need more because it's giving me enough of this spectacular like blockbuster shit. Like, it's giving me enough of the spectacle and
so that's my thing.
The stuff I'm looking for. Honestly,
the light cycle chase in here
I'm into a Tron movie for the writing. I don't think anybody really is.
The light cycle chase in here is really great. Like, honestly, I think that's kind of what locked me into the movie up until it kind of lost me again. But yeah, I'd still say like the action in here isn't particularly that interesting outside of that. It's very standard coverage shooting, and I think that's very shown whenever there's not grid shit on the screen, and you really see very quickly how the movie is composed and how it's being shot. And
yeah, we didn't watch the same fucking movie apparently, man. We really did not.
Sure. I think it's standard coverage.
Tons of good scale in that final sequence with the recognizers and stuff. Tons of amazing scale there, man. The way it's shot. I mean, really, you're really.
I think it
Same
could have.
thing with the light skimmer sequence. Same thing with the light cycle stuff. I think they do a good job in making the real world blend with the stuff and not make it look like you're just filming a real world or trying to VFX a recognizer with the rest of the VFX of the real world. Like they're blending it in a way that looks real. Like, and I think that's shit. I think you're really underselling, really underappreciating that shit. I mean, again, I think there's something to be said about a $180 million movie looking and sounding like a $180 million movie.
So as for it being a blockbuster, I think it definitely looks its budget. However, it's not that big. Tron Legacy absolutely smokes this in terms of scale, and I do think this movie doesn't really do like. There's no action scenes.
See what I mean? You constantly have to bring up like.
I'm not even gonna bring Legacy up real quick. The action sequences in here don't have more than like 3 people at a time, other than that NCOM breakthrough. But they're just like.
What's wrong with
that? It doesn't feel big, and when you put that in the real world, it feels even smaller. It's like just 2 people on a light cycle, or 2 people fighting with their disc in the streets of Vancouver.
I don't
like
know what to tell you, because the action in this movie was better than Legacy's. So don't know what to tell you, man.
In terms of choreography,
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I agree. I just think it's not as effective because obviously Legacy feels.
I think it is because it actually has weight to it. It actually feels real. It doesn't feel like the Legacy action sequences that are completely weightless and complete. No, I mean for example the whole like jet action sequence in Tron Legacy just feels stupidly weightless. Like it just feels like
a video game, huh?
I'm just watching shit happen.
Feels like a video game, huh?
In front of my eyes.
Feels like a video game, doesn't it?
No real tension or weight in any of those action sequences.
Feels like a video game, huh?
Light cycle sequence, same thing. No, just no. That's something I can appreciate in this movie.
Yeah, I would say the light cycle sequence. You want to keep bringing up
Legacy and keep comparing it to Legacy, you can keep doing that. It was never going to be Legacy. It's an entirely different movie from Legacy.
Of course not.
I think y'all would have very much called me a hater and shit like this if I hopped into a podcast and constantly compared like Superman and Man of Steel and constantly made Man of Steel a talking point for why Superman is fucking dog shit and completely the same kind of stupid irreverent mistakes writing wise that this movie is making that are simply in that movie 10 times over than this fucking movie. But again, I'm the biased one. I'm the one that's constantly looking to constantly have a reason to shit on these things and
the light
stuff
cycle
like
chase.
That. But you're being totally honest. You're being totally honest.
Yeah, I think the light cycle chase in here definitely is like choreographed, and it's definitely more thrilling than the light cycle chase in Legacy. But once again, it comes down to the director's vision, the execution, how much this synchronicity between visual and sonic experiences are, and I think that's what ultimately Legacy gets on the dot. Which this movie just feels
Legacy.
It's not Legacy. This movie feels a lot like
Legacy.
Sequences that are good with just Nine Inch Nails played over it.
What about Tron 1982? Does that movie exist to you? No, oh, my bad.
Yes, it does.
Talk about Tron Legacy. We just want to talk about the peak of the cream of the fucking crop, because that's just so
Tron
easy
1982
because Legacy is clearly so easy to rival, right? That's just so easy to do. Clearly, you watch that movie and it's like,
fair comparison.
Why can't every Tron movie do this?
Okay, yes, the movie CGI looks better
fucking insane
than the CGI from Tron 1982. The action is better from the action in Tron 1982.
You're naming exactly what Tron ARES just did. You're naming exactly what Tron.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, is that what you wanted to hear? Like, bro, it's a movie made in the 80s.
They're different movies, though. They're different movies going for 2 completely different things. And I think you never put yourself in that headspace when watching this movie, which is mind-boggling to me, because nothing in the trailer says that. What I'm looking at when I watch the trailer is this industrial-ass different movie. It's not Legacy. So I'm not looking for Legacy in this fucking movie.
Just wouldn't
maybe some references to Sam and Core are cool, but come on, man. Like,
I'd agree. I think I would have been far more forgiving if I was invested. You know, I don't need Tron. I didn't need Tron ARES to be this like basically Tron Legacy direct sequel.
I don't think you're invested in Legacy because of the fucking story or the writing. I don't think that's why you're invested in Legacy.
I'm invested in Legacy because they introduced a world and the characters are part of that world. And if you make Tron ARES and it's not connected to that, that's fine. It better be investing, because if it's not, I would have just
not
rather wanted
connecting to
that.
that. Let's move on. Let's move on.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not a direct.
Let's move
It's
on, bro.
not about
We're
Sam and
good.
Korra.
We're good.
It's
We can
very
wrap this up, bro.
loosely connected. It's, you know, it teases stuff to them, but it's very much its own thing for people who like might have not seen
Is it?
Legacy or 82. They'll be fine. But you know, I just think if the movie invested me enough,
I just think these are the same exact criticisms that Legacy suffered. I think it's the same exact shit, man.
I
Like,
think Legacy has a clearer, more solid foundation. The visual and sonic experience is much
the
more
same
melded
criticism.
together.
It's the same criticism that Legacy suffered, man.
You know,
The
and
same thing about why isn't it like not like Tron 1982? Because that's your whole thing. That's your whole fucking spiel. Is why is it not like Tron Legacy? Because it's not fucking Tron Legacy, and that's the whole thing that happened with Tron Legacy. Is a lot of people complained because it was not like Tron 1982. So it's just repeating history again. I'm not gonna really like take what you're saying really that fucking serious.
Sure.
For some reason, we have much higher expectations for Tron ARES than, you know, fucking Superman, for example.
I think the difference
so,
is Tron 1982 wasn't that big of a hit. It wasn't that much of a cult classic, and a lot of people fell in love with this franchise because of Legacy. Whether you want to admit it or not, that's where it's at. That's where it came from. That's where the real like abundance numbers. Even though this franchise isn't that big,
for the franchise y'all have,
it's you know that's where it came from, and so you know, people are you know rightfully can feel a certain way if maybe they didn't like this movie, and on top of that would have rather explored more with Sam and Korra. You know, if this movie got me invested, it would have gotten me invested. And the light cycle chase like was that for me. It just meandered and you know didn't really at any point get me back on the horse. You know, whenever Nine Inch Nails started playing, I was bopping my head, but that can only amuse me so much, especially if the experience isn't like, I guess a more fusioned like a product in the end. You know, it did just feel like action with Nine Inch Nails over it instead of this kind of, you know, understanding visually and sonically of what you have.
That's so heavy. That's such bullshit, man. It's such bullshit, man. Like,
if that's how you feel, I can't really think of. I mean, maybe the light skimmer sequence was the last time I
dude,
felt like
the 82 sequence clearly does not fucking exist to you. Can we just move on? Like I really do think that the people who call themselves Tron fans that are did that,
I'm not gonna
that
compare the $10 million
I don't think they're Tron fans. I think they're Tron
sci-fi.
I do not think they're Tron
niche.
1982 fans, because I think it doesn't meander. I think once it gets back into that 82 grid and stuff, that's when it starts to pick back up, and with all the grid coming into real life, all the recognizer and stuff.
So at the end of the movie,
again, I don't. This is literally like the last fucking 30, 40 minutes of the movie. It's like the whole entire third act, bro. Like, what are we talking about, bro? What are we? Come on, bro. Yapping, bro. Like, honestly, man.
Yeah.
Like,
you know,
fucking completely yapping, man.
The actors are definitely trying to. They're elevating. What's
I'm all
on
for
paper.
opinions, but not disingenuous ones, bro.
They're elevating. The actors in here are elevating what's on paper. I don't want to go too hard on the directing, because I don't want to compare like Joseph Kosinski has proved.
Do it. You've literally done it the whole fucking entire fucking time we've been
talking about. No, because Joachim Ronning, I think
go ahead and do it,
he did
man.
a solid effort.
Go ahead and do it, man.
I think Joachim Ronning,
go ahead.
You know, put the best foot forward he could. He did a solid effort with what he was given. You know, he's not some alumni of directing or anything. So I never expected this to have like directing prowess,
really,
or like an eye or a visionary. He's clearly a hired gun for Disney, and he executed what he was supposed to. Unfortunately, the script lets this movie down really poorly. There's just the dialogue in here is terrible. The plot's not particularly interesting. The character work is so subpar. There's just nothing here to really be invested in outside of the grid stuff with the music whenever it's on screen. And I do think, you know, you probably won't regret it watching this in theaters. I think casual audiences like it probably more than Legacy. So I definitely say, like, you know, don't be put off from this movie. I think, you know, if the trailers got you, if the trailers piqued your interest, I think you'll like the movie. If you liked those trailers and were like, I think I'm gonna go see that, I think you won't regret watching it. I do think it you know,
Okay,
warrants a price of
we can move on.
admission.
We can move on. I think you'll like the movie if you just go watch it. Honestly, just go watch it. You
Kind of
this shouldn't
expect
be
a
movie you
2-hour
should
music
wait
video
to drop on digital. This shouldn't be a movie you should wait to drop on streaming or DVD like some of these other fucking trash ass blockbusters that have released this year. Go watch this in theaters. Go watch this in theaters.
Yeah.
It will be worth your ticket price, and I think you'll definitely like have some real fun with it.
Just expect
Yeah,
a
I'm
2-hour
not gonna
music
sell this
video.
shit short because I want another. I'm gonna be honest. I want another Tron movie, and I want this franchise to keep going. So
Me
I'm not
too.
gonna try my best at selling it short at every fucking turn that I talk.
That is not a good.
I think all of y'all should go. I think all y'all should go to the movies.
That is an
I think all y'all should go to the movie and watch it.
healthy
I think all y'all should go
mentality.
to the movie and watch it.
I do too. I think you guys should always obviously go watch it, form your own opinion. As always, I'm not telling you to watch it or not watch it.
If you have the opportunity, I don't think you should not watch it. I think
no, just don't go. Don't. I'd say go in expecting like a 2-hour music video. Don't go in expecting any like type of solid like story they're trying to tell or characters.
And if you're gonna watch any of the movies leading up to this, don't expect.
I don't think you need to though.
Don't expect anything story wise from like Tron Legacy. Like go in there for like a 2-hour music video. You know, don't go into that movie really expecting anything much.
Pretty much. I agree. Those are my thoughts. I guess we can give our ratings out of 5. I would give this like a 2.5.
3.5.
Pretty just right in the middle for Nine Inch Nails and the action.
Immaculate blockbuster filmmaking. Some of the best blockbuster filmmaking I've seen since Dune Part 2. So 3.5. All right, amazing score that should be nominated. This should get at least 3 Oscar nominations to me for score,
song and VFX,
original song and VFX. So
yeah, I can see some of those happening. I could definitely see song happening. I think honestly, I would not be surprised if they fuck around and perform at the Oscars. I think that's actually actually probably not. Those are a lot of old people in that audience. But who knows? Maybe they're a bunch of Nine Inch Nails heads. But yeah, I had, you know, it was amusing in moments. Had a cool time. I don't regret watching it because I do think it does warrant the price for a theater ticket and IMAX. Like watching this movie in IMAX, I'd suggest obviously watching it in the most premium format you could. I think I haven't watched it in 3D. I'd imagine that's also like if you're okay with 3D, probably watch it in 3D. But yeah, the score is great and you know has cool action. But I'm gonna give it a 2.5. But that was it. Obviously, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. But yeah, that was it for this episode of the Double Feature Podcast. We talked about Tron. I
can't wait for this Peacemaker episode next week. Let me tell y'all, bro, I can't fucking wait for this, man.
We talked about Tron ARES. We talked about
and the Gen V fucking finale too.
We talked about Tron ARES and Gen V. But more importantly, give us your thoughts on these topics down below. Anything related to them too. Rank the Tron movies. Give us some hot takes. Literally anything. Jump down there.
Have y'all seen Tron ARES? What did you think about the post-credit scene? If you did, are y'all planning on watching Tron ARES? Have y'all seen any of the Tron movies? Like, let us know, man.
Yeah, drop anything related to either of the topics we discussed today. We love discussing with you guys down there, so be sure to let us know your thoughts down below. And if you made it this far and you haven't, please do us a favor, like the video, subscribe, click the bell, all of that. It helps us out a ton. You get more of us and it's completely free, and we would greatly appreciate that. But other than that, it's been your boy Keezy.
It's been your boy Kels,
and hopefully we will see you all in the next one.